Hi, it's Maria Quattrone with Be the Solution, and today my guest is Michelle Saward. Welcome, Michelle.
Hey, thank you.
I'm excited to talk to you.
I'm excited to talk.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with one line, but look how far you've come. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. Thank you for asking me to be on your podcast.
You are welcome. Michelle zooms in with us today from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. So I'm excited to talk to you, Michelle, about all kinds of things, life and real estate. But this morning, we're talking about leadership before we went live and talking about some days that we don't necessarily, although we're in leadership, sometimes want to be a leader.
Or feel like being a leader.
Well, not want to. Feel like is better word.
Yeah, what you feel like. So, yeah, I mean, I think, there's definitely days, I have a scratchy voice today. There's definitely days like we have allergies and you wake up and you think about what's on your schedule for the day, and it involves being very present for other people. And sometimes it's even a challenge to be present for yourself. Right?
Yep, no doubt. I agree.
So I think
I feel that way sometimes as well, because everybody thinks, oh, you only see what people show you, right? On social media.
Oh, girl, yeah.
Right. We don't see blood, sweat, and tears that are going on behind the scenes, literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Literally.
You were sweating quite a bit at your event last week in the desert or whatever, no, in Texas rather. But yeah, and what really goes on behind the scenes and what is really happening. I mean, if I just turned my camera on here, you're going to see like a pile of papers on the desk. Oh, okay. So this is a controlled shot, right? Like this is all I'm letting people in to see right now of me, because the reality is there's chaos kind of going on over there that, will forever be. And that happens with a to-do list. That happens, I think, in being there for other people, chaos can happen quite a lot. I mean, gosh, just this weekend, I had major conflicts about commitments that we made with helping my sister and, making time for friends that, wanted to come over, and a birthday, and, just trying to fit it all in and still keep your job tagged down and being present for other people. It can happen in personal life. It can happen in business also, being present for the people you need to be present for in business. So I think our coach in common, John Cheplack, our coach, talks a lot about, leadership starts with self. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do, is to put yourself first when you care deeply and passionately about helping other people improve their lives. It's really hard to put yourself first when you care that much.
So what are some things that you do, Michelle?
Well, right now, I actually said to my trainer, I said, working out 3 days a week is not working, because it's harder with peaks and valleys than it is just to be consistent. So I think being consistent will give you more opportunities to win than the starts and the stops. Because with the starts and the stops, you're banking on those in-between days, right? To be exceptional and to be amazing. And you really never know what day is going to be the day that's going to make the difference for people.
So what I hear you saying is being consistent on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. As many days as you can do that, and as many days as you can get back up, the faster you get back up. One of my coaches years ago, mentors, said to shorten the gaps between the failures.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling, beat down and sort of run down, and how quickly can you recover and how quickly can you get back up and get back on the horse? Or if you're feeling like, oh, there's too many days in a row where, I had the food I agreed to myself I wasn't going to eat. How quickly can you get back on the wagon to, get back on track? And that can be with anything.
Yeah, doesn't have anything to do with real estate. Although,
No.
Life doesn't have anything to do with real estate, but has everything to do with real estate.
That's true. That's true.
Why? Because wherever you go, there you are.
And the hardest bit of leadership is leadership of self.
So I call it stacking the deck in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So Michelle, you've been in the business 20 years.
I know.
20 years in real estate. You average about somewhere around 200 transactions, give or take, every year.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of production for one person.
Well, I don't do it alone.
Well, I know you have support staff and everything, but you have
a
lot of units. You're a lot of real estate. You're moving, and you've been consistent.
Yes.
Over many, many years.
Yeah.
So talk about, what do you think? What drives you?
Oh God, I could talk for days about this topic. There's two ways for me to, would dissect that. Being consistent has been a bit of a challenge. Being consistent because I want to break through, and then you're sort of arrested at a certain level, right? So that's one area I could go with this. And then, what was the other second half of it that you wanted me to, you talked about? What did you just say at the end of it?
What drives you?
It drives me. So thank you. Okay. So, and what's driving me is I think what's driving me is I really just want to make a difference for people when the day is done. Like, the question I consistently ask myself is, when I'm dead and gone, what are people going to say about me? Did I make a difference in their life? What did I really show up for them? Was I an impactful person that they would say, oh man, I'm going to miss her? Like, that would be, I think, the highest praise. I'm going to miss her. That would be, make my heart sing, that I changed people's lives and that I was a part of that. And it's not, is it everything? Like you said, it's not, everything's not real estate, but everything is real estate. Like, it's, they are completely tied together on that. But, I think we are changing people's lives through real estate. We're helping clients. We get to pop in and pop out of their lives and be a part of their story and their dream. And then we pop out, we're part of their lives, and we're intimately connected for like 90 days or something. Right. And then we're out. It's only like, I feel like that only exists in like, I don't know, like the circus or something. Like, you go to the theater, or you go to a circus, and you get to pop into this magical reality and be transported into another life or another world or another experience, right? And then show's over, go home, get to do it again. It's a very unique and experience. On par with being like an actor or an actress or something. You're part of the performance. You're part of the show. You're part of the big event. And so that always keeps it fresh, and it always keeps it new. And likewise, we get to do that with other real estate agents. We get to be a part of their lives for a section of their career, and figure this thing out and help it scale and grow to dramatically impact how they're living their lives as well. So it's really all the same. It's my driving force. It's my, why, I suppose. Being a part of the story and helping with growth. It's exciting for me. What got me going? I feel like I'm taking all your airspace. But what got me really going on this was, I got to give credit to my parents, and I got to give a a lot of shout out to them. My parents never set really goals for me or expectations for me. My parents were a little bit more of like of the hippie kind of mindset, I guess, of like just be you, whatever unfolds, unfolds. No worries, no stress. Don't worry about it. And like I was about to graduate from college and I didn't know that you had to apply for college or not college. I'm sorry. I was about to graduate from high school and I didn't know that you really had to apply for colleges. My parents didn't go to college and they were just sort of like, well, it'll be the next step and, or she'll go to work or, but it wasn't, this is your next step. You must be doing this. It didn't operate that way for me.
So so wait, you didn't apply for college?
It was like, I went, my friend lived like 4 doors down in high school and I was in her house and she was sort of going through her room saying, yeah, I'm going to take this away to school and I'm going to take this and I don't need all these clothes and I don't need this when I was down at her house. And I was like, huh? What are you doing? And she goes, well, I'm going to be living in a dorm. Like I can't take all this stuff. Like I really need to pare down and figure out what I need. And I, at that moment thought, you're leaving? What am I going to do? People are leaving?
Michelle,
When did
it sounds so crazy to me, Michelle.
When did you all make plans for this? I can't be home.
Where were you at when everybody else was applying for college?
Getting wasted, partying, having fun, getting C's. Solid C student, just the bare minimum to get by kind of thing. Whatever it takes just to be done with this. Yeah, that's what I was doing. And so I thought to myself,
a light bulb went off.
Yeah, I was like, all my friends are going to leave and I'm going to be stuck here.
Oh,
no.
You're like, oh shit, I better figure this shit out.
Yeah. So, I mean, just so for that, I mean, that drove me, right? Like my friends get to move out and I'm going to be stuck here. Oh no, I'm driving. Oh God. Okay.
So
and then you go, yeah, I was like,
what did you do? What happened?
Mom, Dad, you guys got some money? And they were like, no.
You're like, no.
So
they're like, put aside a little college nest egg, nothing like that.
No. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I'd better figure out I think my parents were like, if you want to go to school, you better figure out how to make it happen. And I was like, okay. And so I went down to the school and I figured out how to get loans at the community college. And I did that. And I commuted, which I didn't, I realized my story was wrong until I just recently moved and found my very first lease I ever signed. I commuted for a year and then I got student loans. And when I was 19, I rented a house with my partner on my team, Amy. Now she's responsible for a big chunk of the production that we do. And we rented a house together at age 19 and I bartended and lifeguarded and, continued to get my associate's degree there. And then after I got that, I went to University of Michigan and just accrued the student debt and then paid it off and just worked to pay it off. But I was the student then because I was paying for it and figuring it out and knew that if this was coming out of my pocket, that I better get my money's worth. So I was like the front row student and the dean's list student and and then I think it got to the point where, going to college and paying rent and working 2 jobs is hard. I remember like calling my mom and saying, I was like crying. My roommate had moved out and I was alone and the rent was now double. And saying, I'm right now I'm eating pork and beans out of the can and all I have left is corn. And she said, well, you can come home. And to me, that was like,
yeah, right.
No way. It'd be the same as like, now at age 45, someone's saying, well, you can move in home. You can move back home. Like, I was like, no, no, no. And so I downsized my apartment and figured it out again.
Yes, Michelle. It's called being the solution for yourself.
Be the solution for yourself. And correct. This goes right back to what we're talking about here at the beginning of it, is that, first showing up for yourself, right? Like, okay, what do I want? Where am I driving this thing? How do I want this to go? What's it look like for me? What do I need to make it happen? It's not easy. I think that's the hardest step in becoming a leader, is showing up for yourself first and foremost.
Just sometimes do you forget why or what you're doing?
100%.
But you look around and you're like, why am I doing this?
100%. 100%.
Maybe I should be doing something else. Not necessarily not in real estate. I mean, the particular, I say, job that you're doing within your business. Maybe
100%.
there's somebody better to do it.
There's always somebody better to do it.
I agree.
There's always somebody better to do it. And I think before we came on, that's what we were talking about before we came on live, because you and I, we could talk all day. Seeing other people that are quote unquote doing it better than you, right? Are they really? Maybe they really are. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just they're better at depicting it. I don't know.
Telling the story.
I just saw a post the other day. I'm going to pull this up right here, live on your podcast. And I was like, it was my neighbor posted it. Let's see if I can grab it here. It struck me. It was yesterday morning, as a matter of fact. And I live on an island, and sometimes I don't get the best connection. Okay. I'll find it. It'll come up. Yeah, but it was basically along the lines of like, it involves really spending more time alone. Don't spend too much time on social media. Don't spend too much time worrying about other people. Really just focus more on prayer, meditation, self-reflection, designing your own life, growth. So when it's times like these, I think, when you don't feel like it, you just grab your journal and start writing. So yeah.
Speaking of journaling and writing, is that something that you do every day, or you do it just when you feel like it, or when something comes across your mind?
Yes and no. I find that I'm the best when I'm being very consistent in what I'm writing. And then when you get away from that, because it's quote unquote working, that's when you sort of go, what am I doing? What is this? And then things start to slip, and then you just got to get right back on the horse again. And I had a friend.
Oh, it's called being human.
It's being human. Okay. Yeah. It's being human.
Yeah.
Often. Yeah. You're right.
Because we're not perfect.
We're not perfect. I had a friend say to me that she's a trainer at the gym, and she played for the LFL ladies lingerie football. So you better be in good shape if you're playing football in your underpants.
Oh dear. I didn't know that was such a thing.
It was a thing. And her name's Aisha Thomas. Hi, Aisha. And she said when it came to discipline with her diet and her exercise routine, that she's lazy. I was like, lazy? And she said, yeah, the starting and the stopping is the hardest thing for me. And because it takes so much energy to stop and start, I just don't ever do it. So I remain consistent. That helps me be lazy with my routine, essentially. Like it eliminates the try. Consistent eliminates that need to go up the hill again. And I'm like, I guess that's one way to look at it.
Right. Let's repeat this again. Repeat that over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure everybody gets that, including myself.
She said, listen up. She said that the laziest thing you can do is be consistent. Essentially, she said the momentum and the energy that it takes to get uphill by starting again is more effort than she's ever willing to put in. She's done it a couple times and she realized that's a lot of work just to get back to where I was. So I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to be consistent, and it's going to be an easier path for me because I'm consistent.
There's a lot of truth in that. Whether you're talking about your health, fitness, real estate, making follow-up calls, reaching out to people, right? Because in marketing, you think about the momentum of a big steel wheel. It's 5,000 pounds, and it takes a lot. And I use that as an example. If you could picture a very, very large steel wheel, it's like 15 feet high, and it's like 10 feet wide. And the momentum it takes to push that, to get it started, and the effort. And I meant to say effort, not momentum. The effort it takes to get the momentum. And you keep pushing, and you keep pushing, and you keep pushing a little bit, and there's a little bit more. And then it starts to spin. And then you can't even see it spinning because it's spinning so fast.
Yep.
That's that's getting momentum and keeping consistent and being consistent. You don't even realize that you're doing it because it's part of your being. And if I could figure out how to do that in all aspects, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. And then that's winning. But then sometimes, I don't know, I'm thinking of like that wheel. What is it? What's the word you just used for the wheel? What was the word?
Steel wheel.
Steel wheel. What's the one that's in the water?
The windmill.
In the water.
In the water? The wheel in the water. I don't know.
Like in a river, or on a steamboat or something, whatever, how it propels it.
Yes.
Sometimes, like seaweeds get stuck in them. Like I know on my boat, we'll get weeds in our motor, and then we got to throw it in reverse and get the weeds out, and then, okay, fine, go forward again. And sometimes that does happen. You get weeds in your prop, I guess, because I'm a boater here. You get caught up. So yeah, it's just that effort of getting back forward again. And I don't think we should let that stop us, because we know the feeling of momentum, because we've all been there before, when everything is just clicking and everything is just working. And I think you just got to remind yourself, I can do this. I can get back right on the wagon a lot easier, because the more you practice being in momentum, the easier it gets. And when I find that I'm having what I call you're going to laugh, my real estate temper tantrum, which is
what is that?
Which is the what about me? I'm working so hard. When am I going to get mine? What is like that attitude?
Yep.
I literally have to say to myself, stop, go help somebody. Because going and helping somebody gets me out of my own head and my own problems and gets me into solving theirs. So, it might not be, everything and anything is real estate, right? For us. But for anyone just watching here on your show or listening, when you find yourself wondering when you're going to get your reward, that's when you really need to get out of your own head and go help somebody else. And you'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much better, because when you're stuck in that, what about me? What about me? Me.
How do you know?
You feel it. You start.
What does it feel like, Michelle?
It feels like I did this to help. I did all this work. I did all of these things. I wasn't recognized. I didn't get the paycheck. I, shouldn't need to do this anymore. I need a vacation. It didn't work out for me the way that I thought. This is BS. So and so should be doing blah 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 because I did this, right? That's that feeling, and I literally have to go shake my head and go, ugh, stop, go help someone, and that's when I usually end up picking up the phone, reaching out to like some past clients, or reaching out to a fellow real estate agent, or reaching out and just being present for somebody else, and how can I serve and how can I help. And what do they need? And it will transform the way I feel. And within a matter of hours, I forgot about why I was so grouchy.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how when you take off of, I can say the pressure, because some of it is built around pressure. If you didn't want more for yourself, you probably, in some cases, wouldn't be saying those things to yourself. So if you take off the pressure and not push so hard and focus, it's like redirecting your focus to come back to center.
How do you do that when you are Maria Quattrone?
You're funny.
How do you, when you're wired like Maria, how do you take that idea of not wanting more away from yourself? Like now I'm learning how.
I don't know. I wish I had the answer.
You don't, girl. That's the answer. This is the way you're wired. These are things that you want. This is what you're driving for. Once your mind expands to know that it's possible, it's not going to go back.
It's not going to go back.
But you be nicer to yourself.
Oh, well, that's good. How do we do that, Michelle?
You can be nicer to yourself.
So there's some things you could do to be nicer to yourself.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Send yourself to the spa.
Oh my God, I might send myself some flowers today. My birthday is coming up. Maybe I'll get myself a treat.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
I was thinking about that this morning. I thought maybe some facial stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They take this. People think, what does this have to do with Be the Solution? It has everything to do with it.
I mean, you're talking about solutions, so.
No, all kidding aside, though, I think it's important that we take the time to smell the roses and be thankful and grateful for where we are in the journey, because it's having fun along the way.
It is, and I think it's part of the story, like, so that we can look back and say, your intro, 365 days, draw a line, right? So that you can look back and you can go, whoa, those were some squiggly lines at the beginning here. But look how far we've come. Look how nice that line is now. Holy crow, we have really learned how to like do better, with what we on this track that we're on. Can you believe where we were a year ago? Can you believe?
A year ago, yeah, or 2 years, or 3 years.
Right. Like, and that's part of the story. And that, I mean, sometimes you even look back and you laugh. And it sucked at the moment. It was not funny going through it. That's for sure. Yeah.
So I know you're a lifelong learner,
Mm-hmm.
and You are very, very successful real estate broker.
Mhm.
What are some things that you did in your career to continue to propel your business in the beginning?
In the beginning,
Yeah, or that things that really got you started. Like you started at zero.
yeah, like
Do
an
you remember
unemployment
that?
mortgage. Yeah. See, like that was not funny. um, that's what I mean. Part of the story. So, no, yeah, like it wasn't fun or funny to be unemployed with an unemployment check that the unemployment check is only half of my mortgage. Plus, you still have groceries and a car payment and insurance and life. Um, but that makes for a really good story. That you did what? You and your now husband broke up like 3 times because you were in such financial straits and that it was so stressful. And you couldn't keep a schedule because meeting clients was the utmost priority of anything else over my life, because that was going to be my bloodline and what I was trying to build. That is not sexy. That's nothing I would post on Facebook. You know, shopping at the discount stores and going to like the dollar store for the essentials and like that wasn't fun at all. But it makes for a really good story now, 20 years later, of like, okay, here, look where I'm at. What were some of the things that I did? It's funny because I wrote this down before I even chatted you up this morning. I sought out mentors. Mentors were like everything to me, from coming from a girl that was never really taught to set goals. It was just sort of more go with the flow at my house, which, by the way, is why my friends love to come over. They're like, your parents are so cool. They just accept us where we are. um and and but mentorship was like, and education, those were like life-changing things for me. To some degree, it's luck, and to some degree, mentorship, like finding a good mentor, is hard work. It's a combination of both. It's where luck meets hard work. Um, I was showing up every day to work with an unemployment check, but I was dressed in a suit. I was dressed like ready to go. And my broker noticed that, like, this girl's coming in every single day, 9 to 5. And if she doesn't have clients, she's in the office anyway, learning from other people and figuring it out. And he saw that, and he was like, to the top it was the time I was at Century 21, the top Century 21 guy. He ended up becoming Century 21 number one in the world at one point. And he said to him, can you please help mentor this girl? Like, I think my broker kind of thought, this is interesting and a little bit sad. Can you please help her? So if I wasn't showing up and putting in the work, there's no way that quote unquote luck was going to meet me, you know? But when you're in earnest and you're trying hard and you're putting in the work, that's when you get recognized. And then people like you and people like me will give you our heart and our soul and our mind, and we will pour everything that we know into you to help get you where you want to go. And we will completely buy into your why and your story, because that's something we can get behind because we understand it, because we've been there.
Yes, Michelle. We've been there.
Getting
You
behind.
get up every day and you keep going.
Yeah.
And you're very ambitious. How do you manage your ambition?
That's a big question. But I guess I wasn't here for lightweight conversation, was I? How do I manage my ambition?
Mhm.
I have a cool husband who lets me. He doesn't hold me back. He'll slow me down sometimes. because he recognizes, like you said, smell the roses. He's much better at that than me.
Well, that's why you married him.
Mhm. I speed him up, he slows me down. So
I know a little bit about that.
I know you do. Yeah, yeah. He slows you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so managing the ambition. I mean, I got 1,000 ideas, which is why I have the piles of ideas and things to accomplish, sitting right over there on the desk. And it's hard. It's hard to like define oftentimes the priority of the ambition, because I'm still that kid. I'm the same kid. I'm still that kid that doesn't want the day to end and still wants to get more done. Like I'm still, I can't believe I'm going to say this on your podcast, but it really drives home the point. My mom would be sitting on the porch across the street and I'm playing in the neighbor's yard kickball. And I'd be on base and my mom would see that I'm like doing the antsy pantsy dance. And I didn't want to quit playing kickball because I wanted to score the run. And I knew, like, okay, if I just stay here on base, even with a full bladder, I want the point. I want the win. And I would, like, my mom would see me rounding the bases. She said when I was a little kid, and I would just start to pee my pants while running. And then I'd hit the home plate and then run home. but I didn't even want the sun to go down. It would be, in the summertime in the Eastern time zone regions, you know how it is. In the summertime, it'll be 9:30 p.m. and the sun is still up outside. And my mom, of course, you're going to bed. This is your bedtime. You're too young. I don't care what time the clock says. This is your bedtime. You're going to bed. And I hated that. I had more to do. I mean, from a little kid, like a little kid that had a bedtime in the summer, I never felt like I never wanted the days to end. So that
you still feel like that.
I still feel that. A question at the beginning of like, how much can I serve other people? How good can I get before the day is done? What can I really accomplish today that's going to make a difference or move the needle? Like I still feel that.
Amazing.
So how does that, you asked the question, like, how do you roll that back? I don't know that you do. Like, what do you do in the antsy pantsy dance when you're like, what, 4 or 5 years old? Like, how old until you stop doing the antsy pantsy dance? I still do it today.
It doesn't change because we are who we are from pretty much birth.
Yeah.
That's part of your personality.
Right.
Right. So it's figuring out like how do you run with that and still feel accomplished and feel like you've actually did something.
I think it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, we live great lives. We live amazing lives. Like, I mean, you've been able to do some amazing things with your career, with places you've been, and people that you've met, like the circles that you've been able to be involved in. Like, if you think about that doesn't come unless you're putting in the work.
I think even then you still are always putting in the work, Michelle. It doesn't ever stop.
No.
And I don't think a lot of people actually realize that started the day yesterday at 7:45. Finished the day yesterday. I called you actually.
You did?
Finished the day. Yeah, I went to voicemail. I called twice. I left a voicemail, but it was
I've been
9 because
each other for like
I got home. Yeah, I got in from the office at 8:30. So A lot of people don't realize, still putting in 12-hour days to make things happen, working diligently to get the client's property sold. I mean, saw hundreds of listings this year. I'm not a good humble bragger on social media. I'm really actually suck at it.
I suck at it too.
Yeah, at least you're entertaining.
I do suck at it though. I know we could be better at that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like if I was posting everything we sold, I'd be posting stuff all day long, every day, and my whole feed would be houses. So, that's not who I am. I'm not a good bragger.
Right.
But
yeah,
managing the ambition, I think, is something people just don't talk about. And it's really, really hard because it gets really, really frustrating when you're not getting to where you want to go to. As I'm going to say as fast, but just you make progress and then take a step back, and you make progress and you take a step back. And it's hard to keep, some days you just want to close the bathroom door and cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're saying bathroom door, and that's hysterical to me because I have a bathroom renovation going on right now.
Oh, good. So there's no bathroom door.
The master bathroom renovation, and it's like, I wanted this done before I moved in, and I've been living here now 7 months. And for people like you and I that are, on the personality profile, high D, driver personality, they're very driven. Everything is urgent and everything is now. And the truth is that's not how the world works. Is not how the world works. Everything is not now. Tim Grover in his book Relentless said that when he would give workouts to his what do you call them, trainees, when he would give workouts to them, he would put on the list, number 1, blah, 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 number 1, blah, 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 number 1, da, da, da. And he would label everything number 1. And he didn't want any of his trainees to get the idea that one thing was less important than another by labeling it number 5, 6, 7, 8. And it just sort of when I thought that, I'm like, my God, that's the kind of list I will give people on my team. Number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1. And they're like, do you want me to go left or right? What are you asking me to do? What is the highest level activity right now? What is the HLA? And I'm like, all of them. I don't know. Don't tell me the order that you're working on stuff. Just tell me when it's done. I just, you figure it out. There's your autonomy. Have at it. This is the list. And it's better when you don't look at the list and you're able to just have the right people to trust that it will be done. That's it. Yeah.
Are you learning that in the EOS?
I learned that on my own, I think, a couple of years ago, because I realized that, things take time. Working through a file in real estate, it's an A to Z process. It's not you've got to put attention into it. You can't just slap stuff together. It's got to look, there's a presentation to it, just like my bathroom remodel. If he just came in there and started ripping stuff apart and didn't have, the process outlined in advance, I wouldn't like the result very much at all.
Everything is process.
Yes. Process. Patience.
So, patience and process. Oh, we won't go there, Michelle. We were not going there. So, I love that you're a reader. I did like Tim's new book, Winning.
Yes, it's great.
Very good book.
I'm going to listen to it again, actually.
Yeah, I read it. I didn't listen to it, but definitely. I'm reading now is it? Who, not, who, who, not how.
Who now?
Who, not how.
Okay. And
I'm reading this.
what do you think?
If you have enough money to solve a problem, you don't have a problem.
Do I need this book?
Indeed. Dan Sullivan. Do you know Dan Sullivan?
No.
He's the founder of Strategic Coach, but it was written by Dr. Benjamin Hardy.
Okay.
So it's Dan's ideas and principles written by Dr. Benjamin Hardy, because Dan believes in, you don't write a book, you get somebody to write a book for you. Who, not how.
I like this guy.
So this is my summer reading is, my weekend reading is, I read on the weekends mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to read on the weekends. So
Yeah.
maybe, I know a lot of people read something every day. Right now, I'm not doing that. It doesn't fit into my schedule for myself at the moment in time. At this moment in time. Maybe in the fall it will. But
I am, I want to know, maybe for your summer reader, I'll share with you the book. It's sitting in the other room. It's on my footrest in the living room right now, my ottoman. And it was just, it's like 2 pages per read, 3 pages, 2 or 3 pages per read, they interview different people, and get their advice or, one guy.
What's the book?
I want to go grab it. I can go grab it, but it's in the other room. And I'll share it with you. And, but it's got, I really wish I knew, because I totally just picked it up when I was on a weekend trip. But it's like 3 pages. And so it'll talk about everything from how Bill Clinton made people feel to a guy that was a POW in Lebanon for 4 years to just their different sort of bits of advice, and it's short, so you can get something in every day and feel a little successful, which is, again, if you want to be consistent, you can have your cup of coffee and read 3 pages and feel like you accomplished something.
Well, you'll let me know what that is. I
will do that. I will do that. Yeah.
I could do that. So Michelle, you're having a great year in real estate.
Yeah.
You're building your team.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see for yourself?
I am having a great year. It's not as good as a year as other years that I've had. I will say that. I got the COVID, as many people did. And it right after I moved into my new house. Seriously, the movers left, and then we were unpacking boxes, and my husband got a positive test.
Right, I remember that. It was December of last year.
Yeah, December. So the beginning of the year wasn't set up the way I would normally set up the beginning of the year. And so I lost a couple months with that. When you get COVID right before Christmas and then Christmas comes out, you kind of just lost a month. And you didn't lose 2 weeks, you lost a month. So it just was sort of derailing, plus moving. But I am still having a great year, and I think we're going to make it up at the end of the year to be consistent with the production. But yeah, it's now figuring out how can I do that? And where do I got to take this with 5 months left for the year, essentially?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now. And a big focus has been, how do we hit those numbers and achieve those goals when the leader, quote unquote, took some time away? And I don't regret the time away, not a bit. I feel like, after 20 years, I deserved a little time to make the move, and I didn't feel guilty for being sick, which is I think another thing a lot of people do to themselves, that, the list sort of piles up when you're sick. And this was not on social media, by the way. I did not brag about having tons of boxes in my house and not knowing where anything was and not having the energy to find it. But,
Mhm.
but, you know, I didn't feel guilty for the first time, I think, in 20 years to like give myself that grace to recover and to recover well and to not be so attached to the outcome this year. I decided to kind of let that go a bit of like, you know what, I'm going to do my best and we're going to let the cards fall where they may this year. And at the end of it, it's going to be okay. So my big focus right now is like, as that book you just held up, what was it called? What is it called? Who, not
Who,
how?
who, not how?
Who, not how is, that's one of the questions that I'm asking myself is like, who can help get us where we want to be at the end of the year? And I can't worry about the how really anymore. The how is out of my control at this point. I can just do the best that I can with who I know and how can we help leverage that situation. So I think that's my next download. Thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be a great book.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy it.
All right.
So this was an interesting episode, Michelle, because you know it really gets down to life and all the things that you go through and how you have to work through those challenges and keep on being the solution for yourself, because it all starts with us.
Ain't nobody gonna do it for you.
It all starts with us. It all starts with you.
That's right. 100%.
So, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for being my friend.
100%. I feel the same.
Grateful and appreciative of your friendship.
Yeah.
And love you to death. And I'm so happy to see that you're happy and that you actually took some time this year for yourself. You do what you need to do. So
Book that
last
spot.
thing.
Book that
Yeah,
spot.
I will. I
Okay.
will. I'll text you that I did it. But
All right.
thank you and keep on being the solution.
All right. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.